Hi, Yogesh.
Hi, Niels.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Shubham asked me to take over the moderation today. I'm happy to do that, but let's wait a couple more minutes to see if more people will join in.
Sure.
Hi, hello, Yogesh.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Again, for the newcomers, let's wait a couple more minutes to see if more people will join in.
Maybe while we are waiting, I think the Open Infra Summit CFP is closing, or maybe already closed, but it at least was a place where last year Magma presentations were given. So maybe it's just to have it mentioned. Sorry, it's already closed. I'm too late with mentioning it. It closed 2 days ago.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe let's start. So welcome everybody to the engineering meeting. Shubham couldn't make it today. He asked me to take over. I can do that. You should see my screen with the agenda today. And first one is Yogesh with 5G updates. I will give you the screen.
Yeah, I think Nils, as it was just a year end, nothing much. We did our regular CI/CD. I think there are a couple of things which are planned for the coming weeks. The new, some of the new radio we are planning to test, and some minor improvements in unit testing and logging. But for the last week, for the last 2 weeks, it's mostly the regular CI/CD. Nothing much. So any questions, anyone? Yeah, I think that's all from my side, Nils.
Okay, thank you very much. Then next one is Marco with AGW updates regarding the new VMs.
Yeah.
Take the screen.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, as Niels just said, we are planning to release new AGW VMs, all three this time: dev, test, and the traffic server. There's already a PR open for this, which is in review. A lot of testing is already finished, and we're quite happy with the results. Okay, so why do we do this? Since the last release in, I think, October, a lot of new provisioning steps or change provisioning steps have been added, which just means that the provisioning time has gone up quite a lot. Also, the data which is needed to download provisioning these images has gone up. And so we decided to get the base images on today's the new reality. As you can see here, we have Go 1.19.3 now already installed, the currently released DHCP CLI tool. and the Linux Artifactory is already pre-installed now as some of the highlights here. And with these steps all packed into the new images, the provisioning times are now down again. And it's, again, a pleasure to work with these images. Any questions about this? Okay, then I will, Niels, do you want to take over, or should I continue with the Docker?
No, so just very quickly, yesterday was the last monthly DevOps meeting. So if you want to see details, we started recording these meetings. I don't know if the video is yet added to the page, but you can see details there. But one part is quite important because it affects a lot of developers, and this is the Docker Compose v2 upgrade. So Marco will talk a little bit about this here.
Yeah. So as you may have noticed from Slack, we did an upgrade to Docker Compose. I think it was shortly before New Year's. We had to revert this due to a bug in a quite edge case, or in an edge use case. We're now back testing another way of upgrading the Docker Compose to v2. We're using now the compatibility mode, which means the Docker Compose files as they are now can stay the way as they are. And it looks at the moment quite promising in testing. You can see here the quite extensive test runs we've been working on. So if you want, you can take a look and see if you have a very special use case, or if you use Magma in a very special way, which we may not anticipate. And so if this upgrade would break any of your workflows, please feel free to reach out to us and to find any bugs before merging this. And if there are no questions, I think that's it from my side.
Yeah, one question, Marco, sorry.
Yeah.
Did you test this PR on ARM as well, or it's only on x86?
Since we have only x86 machines, we did not test this on ARM, no. But
okay. I'll try to test it. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
I'll try to
this
test
would be very great.
And let you know if. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, any more
questions? Then I will.
Yeah.
Thank you. So while we are waiting, if my last comment before was lost in translation, yesterday was not the last DevOps meeting. It was the last recent DevOps meeting. So test stabilization updates. We had a lot of small detail improvements in the last couple of weeks, and it seems now that the integration tests at least have become more and more stable. So we still see red runs here, but these are the integration tests versus an environment where a Bazel built Debian artifact is installed. And the most reasons for the still red runs are segmentation faults in flaky reruns. I created an issue here with a lot of documentation about this. And it looks like that the S1AP testing framework has problems in flaky reruns. This needs some debugging. If someone here has more experience with this framework, feel free to jump on this issue. So help would be appreciated here. The second one is that in some cases, the VM setup fails. So Vagrant tries to start a VM and it just runs into a timeout. I was able to create a pull request. I will push it hopefully today with a retry in this manner that should mitigate this problem. But if someone wants to take a closer look why the VM's not starting at all, feel free to take over there as well. Yeah, that's the small update for the test stabilization. Are there questions? Then we have Lars with a small Bazel update. I stop my screen sharing.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yes, so I just want to give the same update that I already gave in the DevOps meeting yesterday, but it's good if more people take a look here. So this is about Bazel documentation for the access gateway. So we already have some Bazel documentation in the Dockersaurus on specific topics. But here we want to create one page that sort of summarizes most of the Bazel specific things for the access gateway. And there's a draft PR here, which you're very welcome to take a look at, give feedback if you think something's missing, something's incorrect, or something is not clear. Then yeah, please comment or get in touch. You can also use the Slack channel Bazel. And yeah, this documentation is mainly aimed at developers, and it should cover pretty much anything like basic that you need to know about how to deal with Bazel. And you can use this command here. So go to the docs folder and run make dev to preview what this page would look like once the PR is merged. And there's a workflow that once the PR is merged, you can then see it. So now we're on localhost. You can navigate to this access gateway with Bazel page. And here on this sideline, you can sort of see the rough outline. So the beginning is like, if you don't have any idea what Bazel is, what files are there, how do they work, and so on, you can look at this section. We explain sort of the structures and files, where you can use, which environments you can use Bazel in, caching, and like the basic structure of the commands. And this is sort of how the rest of the documentation is then split up. There are commands for building. So what can you build? What targets are there? How do you specify these targets on the command line? What configurations can you build the targets with? How do you add dependencies? Say if you add a new file or if you add a dependency to an existing target, how do you do that? There's also documentation on testing, there's unit testing, integration testing, and so on. How do you run these tests? How do you generate unit test coverage as well? There's also a section on running services or utility scripts. And this may be a bit newer if you're only familiar with Make. There's a query language in Bazel that you can also use. So there's some links here to the official Bazel documentation and some Magma specific examples. For example, if you want to run or if you want to find all Python tests, say, that are not tagged as manual, so they're not like integration tests or something, this could provide you with a list of that, or some more complicated examples like this one, where you would get a dependency graph of the Envoy controller, say. So this is very handy. Then there's a short section also on CI with Bazel. And in the end, there's a very brief comment here on how you can build the release with Bazel. Yeah, so this is like the basic outline. It would be great if you could have a look. If you're interested, provide some feedback on the PR or elsewhere. And yeah, that's about it. Are there any questions on the documentation? If not, then I will hand over back to Niels.
Thank you very much. I will share my screen again. But we are at the end of the official agenda. So are there additional topics you want to talk about that you want to bring up?
Yeah, Nils, I think not related directly, but I think there is no resolution for the JFrog, right? Because I don't see any response from Marco.
Sorry, again, you were talking about the Artifactory problem, right?
Yes, Nils. Meaning I have not seen any update in that our Linux group, so
yeah. I have seen
that.
that he wrote today that he opened again an issue at JFrog and will keep us up to date. But I don't have more information, unfortunately, as well.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I have posted the question there as well, but yeah, we'll keep track of it.
Yeah. But feel free to query Fabio again if this is happening more often, so we have some visibility that this problem still exists.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Any more topics you want to bring up? Then this was a very quick engineering meeting. Thank you very much, everybody. So have a nice day, have a nice evening, and see you. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.